think my first question will be, so tell me a little bit about Heartthrob. What can we expect to hear from that album as opposed to other albums?
I think people will say it's our poppiest record. There's an absence of guitars, I think, for a lot of people who've come to see us as more of like an indie band or a rock band. We did this purposely. We do a lot of our recording using loops and keyboards and just like a lot of layering of vocals and stuff. And when we went into the studio this time, we just decided not to mess with it. We just decided to sort of embellish what was already there and not try to turn it into a band record. And I think it's a fantastic record. I think there's like definitely a high energy component to a lot of the songs, but there's still like I think a true arc, and lyrically it's very much a Tegan and Sara record, so I think it'll be very recognizable to those who are longtime fans, but I also think it gives us a really great opportunity to reach new people.
I think a lot of people kind of associate Tegan and Sara records with, slight teen angst and, kind of heartbreak and some kind of like getting over it. How does that, if you guys are in a good place, how does that translate into your lyrics? How do you guys get inspiration for that?
Even though we are in healthy relationships, we've got to a point in our career where we're very comfortable and satisfied. I think on a personal level, there's still lots of reflection that's happening. I think we're both delving into the past a bit on this record. So people can still expect a sad, heartbroken record full of longing and passion, but I think there's a new part to this record, like a new vibe for Tegan and Sara, and that is that there's a lot of empowerment. There's some like embracing of the sadness. There isn't really that self-deprecating element, I don't think. I think we've definitely embraced ourselves and we're feeling positive, so you'll still feel sad.
So I know for sure with Sainthood, and I think kind of a bit with the con. I think people who have listened to your records have been like, Tegan and Sara changed their sound, but that happens, I think, consecutively now. So I mean, people probably going to be saying this about this record. What do you have to say to that? I mean, are you guys changing your sound every time, or is this your sound? Is your sound changing and evolving throughout your records?
I think that Tegan and I are never going to change the way that we sing. We for all intents and purposes, it's like our voices are a certain type of guitar. I'm just going to always play this guitar the way that I play it, and we're always going to harmonize with each other and sing with each other, and we have Tegan and Sara quirks, if you will, like doing a lot of call and answer or a certain type of background vocal. That's always going to remain consistent. The aesthetic of the music, like whether I'm playing more electric guitar or less, more keyboards or less, if there's more programmed drums or there's more organic drums, I think at the end of the day, the songwriting in its purest form is always going to be Tegan and Sara. And the vocal delivery is always going to be Tegan and Sara. So for me, the evolution has to happen. I would be bored if I was still making a record that sounded like The Con. I would.
You guys are keeping the same lyrical theme, the same sound, but what exactly do you guys do to change it? Like, what makes you think, what do we change? How do you decide what changes from record to record?
I think you sing differently, you play differently. A year and a half happens, so new music comes out and you start listening to a different band and you start thinking, oh man, I want to kind of try that. Sara had 9 years of classical piano. All of a sudden, during the So Jealous Con era, we were like, why aren't we playing piano and keyboards and synths? So then we bought all these keyboards, and then all of a sudden, the fans were like, they sound so different. But it was like we were growing, evolving, time. That's what changes. So Heartthrob is just, I think, another 2 years passed, and we toured, and we listened to different music, and we changed, and the times have changed. And, I think that the only sort of premeditated conversation that we have when we go into doing a record is after it's written. And we sit down and talk about what kind of producer we want to use. So the songs just come out naturally. Sara and I really kind of go into an egg. We're just like, ready to hatch, and then the producer snaps us up, and then we get in the studio and we sort of make the magic happen. So, I think the biggest change from record to record is just time.
What do you guys do to stay relevant throughout all that? What do you guys do when you listen to new music every 2 years? What do you do to kind of keep yourself in competition with all that?
I just sort of, I'm outside of being in a band. I'm a normal human who goes and sees shows and listens to new music, and I think that as human beings, we're all in a state of evolution, and I think that that's reflected in the music. I also think that there's just something to be said for like when you're just playing and performing and rehearsing all the time, you get better. So you're able to push yourself just naturally. There's intuitive things that I did my whole life, but there are also just skills that I've built now. So when I'm sitting down to record, I understand the program better. I understand how to make a melody sound better, or I know how to push myself, or I guess like reach new heights with what I'm trying to do. And that just comes from years and years of experience. Some people just have it when they first start, but I think for me it comes with more experience each year. So
Key and Gas, Good Morning Texas.